Good afternoon, dear learners. Welcome to NIS E-Vidya Live class. I am Amrita Samal, working here as consultant ICT. Today we are going to discuss about senior secondary level lesson 1, basics of computer. So in this lesson we are going to discuss about what is a computer, generations of computer, various components of computer which includes input devices, output devices and peripheral devices. Apart from this, we are going to discuss about software, basics of languages, then which includes compiler, interpreter and assembler. Apart from this, at the end of this lesson we are going to discuss about various applications of computer. Let us get into the lesson in detail. So, moving to the next slide, you all must be knowing about Charles Babbage. He is an mechanical engineer and mathematician, and he is known as father of computer. So, now we are going to discuss about what is a computer. Computer is an electronic device which takes raw data as input from the user, then it processes this data to the set of instructions which is called as program and gives the desired output. Now we will discuss about generations of computer. The history of computer development is known as generation of computer. There are 5 different generations of computer, namely first, second, third, fourth and fifth. Each generation has fundamentally changed the way how the computer operates. In other words, we can say the development has happened in terms of operation, sizes, efficiency and in cost. Now we are going to discuss about these generations of computer in detail. First we will talk about first generation of computer. So from 1940 to 1956 is known as first generation of computer. In this generation, vacuum tube was used for the circuits. Though vacuum tubes are used, then it consumes more electricity and it generates more heat. It can solve one problem at a time, and in first generation of computers, machine languages were used. The best example of computer in the first generation is UNIVAC and ENIAC. Moving to the next slide, we will discuss about second generation of computer. From 1956 to 1963 is known as the second generation of computer. Instead of vacuum tubes, in second generation of computers, transistor being used. So it became energy efficient comparing the first generation of computers, and in this generation high level languages used like COBOL and Fortran. Then from 1964 to 1975 is known as third generation of computer. In this generation, integrated circuits were used, which enhances the speed and efficiency of the computer system. So, in this generation, for the first time, user interacted with keyboard and monitor through an operating system. Third generation computer was accessible to mass audience and which was smaller and cheaper than comparing the previous generations of computer. Then the next is the fourth generation. From 1976 to 1985 is known as the fourth generation of computer. In this generation, microprocessors were used, which required very low power, and due to the smaller in size, it is very easy to port from one place to the other place, and it became faster than the previous generation of computers. Then the other feature is it became cheapest among all other generation. Then the next is fifth generation of computer. From 1985 onwards is known as the fifth generation of computer, where VLSI technology was used, which is very fast and energy efficient. And comparing all the previous generation of computers, the computers in fifth generation became very smallest, and it works at extremely high speed, and the computers available in this generation at a affordable price. Now let us see how a basic computer system comprises of. A basic computer system comprises of a user, software and hardware. Then how it works? As we have already discussed, computer takes input, then it processes the data. After processing the data, it gives the desired output to the user. Now let us discuss about various features of computer. There are many features available for a computer like speed, accuracy, diligence, storage capacity, versatility and reliability. Let us first discuss about speed. The remaining feature we will discuss one by one. Speed. Computer works at a very high speed, and computers can carry out the instructions in less than a millionth of a second. Coming to the second feature of computer is accuracy. Computers can do the calculations without any errors. Then the next feature is diligence. What is diligence? As a human being, if we do the task repeatedly, so we get bored, but computers are capable of performing any kind of task given to it repeatedly. Then the next feature we are going to talk about storage capacity. Computers can store large volume of data and information on various secondary devices like magnetic tape, magnetic media, and there are many more secondary devices which we are going to discuss in chapter later on. So, the next feature of computer is versatility. It means computer has the capacity to perform different types of work simultaneously. Then the next feature is reliability. A computer is reliable and it gives consistent result for a similar set of instructions. Moving to the next, let us discuss various parts of a computer, which includes input devices, output devices and other peripheral devices. First, we will discuss about input devices. Input devices includes mouse, keyboard, scanner, optical reader, barcode reader, joystick, light pen, etc. Let us first discuss about the first input device is keyboard. The keyboard looks like a typewriter. It contains alphabets, numbers and some special symbols. So, how does the keyboard work? It sends an electronic impulse to the computer whenever a user presses any key on the keyboard. According to the key pressed by the user, it displays the character or a number or any special symbol on the screen or on the monitor. The next input device is mouse. Mouse is a pointing device which controls the cursor. A cursor is nothing but a small symbol which appears on the screen. There are mainly three types of mouse like magnetic ball type, optical mouse and wireless mouse. Here I have given different types of mouse. The first one is the wireless, then the optical mouse. As you can see here, a track ball, and the last image what I have given is the mechanical mouse. So, moving to the next slide, now we will see uses of various pointing devices. An optical mouse is preferred over the mechanical mouse. Why? Because the mechanical mouse generally absorbs dirt and dust so easily because of the bottom sealed of the optical mouses. So, it do not absorb the dust and dirt. That is why nowadays optical mouses are preferred over the mechanical mouses. And the how they work, the optical mouse work by emitting light from an LED. Then the next kind of mouse what we have discussed is wireless. Wireless mouse is very convenient to use. The other type of pointing devices as the track ball. Track ball is designed with a movable ball on the top which can be rolled in any of the direction, and specifically it is used with the CAD softwares. Let us have a look on the other kind of input devices, which is a scanner. A scanner is a device which is used to copy an image of paper and it converts into a digital image which can be saved as a computer file and stored at any type of hard drive or any other drives. So, scanners use special kind of technology called optical character recognition to read the text from the paper. Let us have a look on the next input device, which is optical mark reader. Optical mark reader is which is also an input device which is used to enter the data into a computer system. Optical mark reader reads pencil or pen marks which is already predefined, and most of the time as in exams we have seen the OMR sheets. The same technology here we are using. It can read the pen or pencil marks at the desired positions. The next is QR code reader. A QR code reader is a device which is used to scan the QR codes anytime and anywhere. Using the QR code reader which helps in generating and downloading and scans the QR code and saves the information accordingly. The next input device we are having barcode reader. Barcode reader is also an input device which is similarly works as QR code reader. A barcode reader is known as barcode scanner too, and it is an optical scanner that can read the printed barcodes. As you can see here, the lines available here, the combination of black and white bars. The barcode reader reads those bars and saves the information related to the bars. Then the next we are going to discuss about output devices. Output devices includes such as monitor, speaker, printer, headphone, projector, plotters. So, let us look into this in detail. So, first output devices are monitor. Monitor is also known as visual display unit. Monitor can be of various category like CRT monitor, LCD and LED. CRT stands for cathode ray tube, LCD stands for liquid crystal display and LED stands for light emitting diode. Nowadays, the LCD and LED monitors are preferred over the CRT monitor due to less power consumption and compact in sizes. Here, as you can see here, different types of monitors I have given. The first one is the CRT monitor, subsequently LED, LCD monitor, and one more kind of monitor image I have given here, that is the touch screen. Touch screen monitors usually we can see in like shopping malls, airports, then market complexes and in many more places. So, let us coming to the next output devices, which is printer. Printer is an output device which gives the output information in a printed format on a paper or on a sheet. Generally, there are three kinds of printers: dot matrix printer, laser printer and inkjet printer. Here I have given few the different types of printers. As you can see here, dot matrix printer, inkjet printer and the laser printer. Moving to the next slide, now we are going to discuss about plotter. So, plotter is an output device which works much like printer, and specifically plotters are used for printing vector graphics. Instead of toner which is used in printer, plotter use a pen, pencil, marker or any other writing tool. So, plotters are commonly used for CAD design. Basically, plotters are of two types: flat bed plotter and drum plotter, which is known as a spin plotter too. So, these are the images for drum plotter and flat bed plotter. Drum plotters are used for CAD and architectural designs, whereas flat bed plotters are used for automobile, airlines and for highway designs. So, the next, apart from this input devices and output devices, we are having other peripheral devices which includes web cameras, graphic cards, other extension cards, video cards and network cards. Then the next important component of a computer system we are going to discuss about the central processing unit. In short, we are telling as CPU. It is known as the brain of our computer system. CPU consists of electronic circuits. The major components of CPU are control unit, arithmetic logic unit and memory unit. Let us discuss about these three components in detail. So, what is arithmetic logic unit? It performs all types of arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. and logical operations such as comparison, greater than, equal to, less than. There are many more logical operations like this. So, ALU specifically responsible to perform arithmetic and logical operation. The next part of the CPU is control unit. Control unit performs all type of controlling operations like input, output and processing. The third important component of the CPU is the memory unit, which is used to store data. Now we will talk about memory of the computer system. So, as we have discussed, memory unit is used to store the data. So, basically memory is categorized into two parts: primary memory and secondary memory. Primary memory again segregated into two parts: random access memory and read only memory. Random access memory is known as volatile in nature. Volatile in nature means if suppose power suddenly goes off, so whatever the data or the work the user has done, as soon as the power goes off, it is not going to be stored into the computer system. So, instead of this RAM, if we are storing in ROM, the ROM means read only memory. So, ROM is non-volatile in nature. So, coming to the second part of the memory is secondary memory. Secondary memory consists of hard disks, CD-ROMs, DVDs, pen drive, hard drives, magnetic tape, magnetic drives, etc. So, now on the basis of size, usage and power consumption, there are different types of computers available, such as laptop, palm tops, tablets, microcomputer, mini computer, desktop, mainframe and supercomputer. These are the various different types of computer depending on the usage, power consumption and sizes. Then the next we are going to discuss about what are the major parts of the computer system apart from CPU, input output devices. What are the other major important component or other important parts like UPS, motherboard, then various cards as we have discussed in peripheral devices. Apart from these, various drives, and we are having like fan and heat sink. Now we are going to discuss about what is software. So, software is a set of programs which is consist of step by step instructions which helps the computer to process the data. So, dear learners, let us take a break. After coming from the break, we will discuss about software in detail.
प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने। धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, समय की सीमा से विद्यालय कहीं पड़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो। कभी पड़े हम कहीं पड़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो। मित्रों हम उठे और जागे, मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, अपना जीवन स्वयं बने हम, अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने। राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी बातें।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर। दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत, कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने हम, अपना जीवन स्वयं बने हम, अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने स्वयं बने हम,
Welcome back, dear learners. So, now we are going to discuss about software. Software is nothing but set of programs which are step by step instructions, and it helps the computer to processes the data. Generally, software is divided into two categories: system software and application software. So, let us discuss about system software. System software controls the overall operation of the system, and it is stored in the computer memory. It instructs the computer to how to load, store and execute an application. Best example of system software is operating system. We are having many examples of operating system such as DOS operating system, Windows operating system, Unix, Linux, Macintosh and many more. The next part of the software is application software. Application software are written to perform some specific task. The basic types of application software are word processing, databases, spreadsheets and MS Office, which includes MS Word, Excel and PowerPoint, MS Outlook. These are the various examples of application software. Application software is again divided into two types. The first one is generalized packages and the second one is the customized packages. So, generalized packages serves or we can say generalized packages are designed to serve a particular purpose. For example, under generalized packages we are having MS Word, Paintbrush, Excel, PowerPoint, Adobe Reader, these are many things. Then if we talk about customized packages, then customized packages is specifically designed to fulfill the user requirement. It means according to the specific requirements we can design particular software that comes under the customized packages. We are having examples, there are many more examples comes under customized packages, like our railway information system, student information system. There are many other management information systems, document management systems. Like this, there are many examples which software or which packages are designed specifically to fulfill the user requirements comes under these customized packages. Moving to the next slide, let us discuss about languages. Languages is the mode of communication. So, language is categorized into two type, low level language and high level language. Low level language is again divided into two parts, machine language, which is generally consisting of binary codes or binary numbers, which includes combinations of zeros and ones, and the other part which comes under low level language is assembly language. Then the high level language which consists of English and mathematical symbols. So, let us have a differentiation between low level language and a high level language. So, high level language is considered as a programmer friendly language, whereas low level language considered as machine friendly language. High level language can be easily ported from one place to the other, whereas low level language it is not portable. Then coming to the high level language, it is easy to understand, though it consists of English language and the special mathematical symbols and numbers. Comparing this distinction, low level language is difficult to understand. Then high level language is easy to debug, whereas the low level language it is very difficult to debug. High level language it requires a compiler or interpreter to translate into the machine code, where low level language it needs an assembler to translate the instructions. Then the high level language consumes more memory, whereas the low level language it consumes very less amount of memory. So, now let us discuss what is the use of compiler, interpreter and assembler. Compiler is used to convert the high level program into machine code. It scans the entire program at a time. Programming languages like C, C++, Java are making use of compilers. So, coming to the next part which is interpreter. Interpreter also converts the high level program to machine language or machine code. It interprets the program line by line. Interpreter takes less amount of time to analyze the source code. Programming languages like Python, JavaScript uses interpreters. The next part is assembler. So, assembler is quite similar to compiler. It converts the assembly language into machine code. Let us have a look on this image. As we have discussed just now about compiler, interpreter and assembler. As you can see here, compiler is used to convert the high level language to the low level language, or we can say to machine code. Similarly, interpreter also used to convert the high level language to machine code. As we can see, compiler and interpreter are used to translate from high level language to low level language, or we can say into the machine code, whereas assembler is used to translate the source code into the object code, or we can say it converts the assembly language into the machine language. Now, let us discuss about what are the various applications of computers, how we are using computers in different domains. Nowadays computers are being used in different sectors such as education, health, business, communication, transportation, weather forecast, in military, then in defense, in security, internet security, and there are many more applications in various sectors. So, let us have a look how the computer being used in these different areas or in these different sectors. So, if we talk about in education sector computers plays a major role, like we are using the student information system or to conduct online exams, or if we have to prepare a student appraisal system, and or like we are having some management information system what we are using in schools, colleges or universities. These are the various areas where computer are being used. So, coming to the next domain or next area is health sector. In health sector also nowadays computer plays a major role. Biomedical instruments like digital X-ray, EEG, ECG, MRIs, in all these instruments computers plays a major role. So, apart from this education and health sector, computers are being used in business sector also for to do the market research, financial databases, or for operation research we are using computers. Then if we consider or if you talk about like communication or transportation, computers are used for mobile communication and internet. If we talk about transportation, which includes like railway transportation, airlines and other transportation, computers are mostly used. So, apart from all these, in construction sector also nowadays computers are being used for design of buildings and roads. In construction sector, though we are using the CAD tools we are using. So, instead we can say that in construction sector also computer plays a major role. Apart from all these, for like disaster management, computers are used for like to predict the floods, earthquakes, like this, and in security management also we are using computer for national security, for internet security and other intelligent systems. So, the next area we can talk about like defense and space, research and in military, but from in all these areas computer plays a very important role. In research, like all scientific research which includes medical research, physical research, chemical research, biological research, in cyber physical systems, in all these research areas nowadays computer plays a very important role. Then if we talk about in military domain or military sector, like air defense control, naval systems and other military systems also making use of computers in a broader sense. So, dear learners, these are the various topics we have covered in this lesson. So, what are the learning outcome or what we have learnt in this chapter? So, first we discussed about what is a computer. So, in short I am going to repeat it. So, computer is nothing but an electronic device which takes input from the user, then it processes the data or information, and after processing it gives the desired output to the user. Next we discussed about generation of computer. There are 5 different generation of computers: first generation, second generation, third, fourth and fifth generation. In first generation of computers, vacuum tubes were used. The second generation we have used the transistor, Then we came up with the integrated circuits being used in third generation of computers. In fourth computer were using microprocessor, and from the fifth onwards the VLSI technology is being used for computer system. So, then we discussed about various input and output devices. In input devices, we have discussed about keyboard, mouse, scanner, barcode reader, then QR code reader, and many more things. Then in output devices, we have discussed about printer, plotter, then there are many more other kind of like projector. These all the devices, various devices we discussed in input and output devices. Apart from this input and output devices, we discussed about peripheral devices, which includes web cameras, network interface cards, graphic cards, etc. The next we have discussed central processing unit. Central processing unit is the brain of the computer. Central processing unit consists of three major parts. It consists of control unit, arithmetic and logic unit, and the memory unit. Control unit performs or controls the overall processes of the computer system, whereas arithmetic logical unit is responsible to perform the arithmetic and logical operations, as the name suggests. Arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc., and logical operations like equal to, comparison, less than equal to, like this. Then next we discussed about memory. Memory again divided into primary memory and secondary memory. Under primary memory, we discussed about random access memory and read only memory. And in secondary memory, we discussed about hard disk, hard drive, pen drives, magnetic tape, and there are many more secondary storage devices which is used to store the data or and information. Then the next we talked about software. So, in short, software is nothing but the collection of programs, and programs again is a set of instructions which is used to process the data. So, basically software is categorized into system software and application software. So, best example of system softwares are operating systems, and application software are again segregated into two parts, customized packages and generalized packages. The generalized packages serves a specific purpose, whereas the customized packages are designed to for a specific purpose according to the user requirement. We are customizing the things, so it is known as the customized packages. The next we discussed about languages. Languages is nothing more as it is the means of communication. So, in languages it again divided into low level language and high level language. So, in languages we have used like assembler, compiler and interpreter. Compilers and interpreters are basically used to translate the high level language to machine code, whereas the assembler used to translate from the assembly language into the machine code. Then the next, as we have discussed various applications of computer in education sector, in business, in health sector, for weather forecast and disaster management, in military, then in network security, and there are many more other broader areas where computers plays a major role. So, dear learners, I hope you have enjoyed this session. So, go through this briefly. If you are having any type of queries or something, you can write into the comment section. Then thank you all.